Alrighty, I think that is now live, possibly, maybe not. We'll never know. If it is live, then in that case, hello everyone. If it is not live, then I guess it is not live, and then it's not hello everyone. First things first, I'll just clarify that a good friend of mine was to be joining me today, and suddenly he has just disappeared, and I don't know where he is. So that's kind of cool. But no matter, instead of it being two idiots talking about philosophy and various things, it's just going to be one idiot talking about all of that. And so I guess we'll just leave it at that. Hello, Monsieur Jesse. Hope you're going all right. Interestingly, so the topic that was on the title of the video was called You Cannot Control Your Thoughts and Feelings. And it's quite relevant to me at the moment, because at the moment I am dealing with an incredibly difficult and painful level of depression that I'm sort of seeing different swirls happening in my vision and whatnot, and so it's quite remarkably suitable for the title, because that means we can sort of philosophize on that and talk about that as an example. And who knows, maybe my friend Mr. Daniel will just randomly pop up somewhere. But at the moment, yeah, it is just me. For anyone who has joined in, please do say hi. And if you have anything that you have as a question, or that you're wanting more clarity on, or you just want to say g'day, please just say g'day. I promise that I don't bite, and neither does anyone else here. Again, this was going to be with a friend of mine, and he just hasn't sort of shown up. So I'm just going to quickly text him, if you all don't mind, if that's okay, because I'm just confused as to that he's disappeared off the side of the planet. Hopefully he's not also dealing with bad depression, because if he is, well, then that's no good. But if it turns out that he's just getting ready, I'll grab the guitar and I'll play us some tunes, and I guess then we'll just wait. I improvise, alright, everything's fine. But give me just one moment, I'm just going to double check. Firstly, Telegram. No presence on Telegram, and no presence on the Discord. That's okay. That's okay. Alright, how do I swap apps on this thing? Oh, there we go. Excellent. Hello again, I am back. So yeah, the topic of the video, sorry for knocking the mic, the topic of the video, we were going to be discussing that you cannot control your thoughts and feelings, and it's something that I have made a video about. Hello. It's something that I have made a video about already, but it is good to sort of reflect on this with another person. Oh, so Lima and Kianga. You know what, Kianga, that bloody thing that you put on Twitter that said, oh, this is how you pronounce your name, and I clicked on it, and I clicked on the American one, and it was so hilariously bad. It was like Kianga. Oh, I was like, oh my god. Oh, I love that. Um, anyways, but yeah, so that's what we were going to discuss today, is that you cannot control your thoughts and feelings, and uh, if any of you all have any thoughts or feelings about that, I would be very appreciative to know, because this is something that I've lived with for a decent while now, with um, originally just overcoming other problems in life. You know, I was when I was with my first partner, I would suffer with major jealousy, for example, back when I was younger. Um, and wow, you know, that would be quite rough, dealing with how those feelings would just be so overwhelming and so overpowering. But the thing is that no matter how much I despised those thoughts and those feelings, they wouldn't go away. And that was the thing, is that you cannot control them. They just sort of pop up, whether you like it or not. And also, Kayanga, please, no, Kiang. Oh my God! Now I'm saying it like the American one. What am? Oh, yo. Don't go there. uh, as I was saying, yeah, no matter how much I reasoned with these thoughts and with these feelings personally, and as I would then find out through the help of my psychologist, that you cannot control them, no matter how much you want to. It's just the way that it is. And so, interestingly, the way that you would then overcome those feelings was through acceptance and through acknowledging the fact that, well, that just is the way that it is, you know. You can't change that. Your mind is going to do what it does best, which is to produce thoughts and to produce feelings. If it didn't do that, that sort of means that you're dead, which is possibly not a good thing, right? Very possibly not a good thing. So, see, I know how, Kianga, I know how to say your name, which is, I believe I'm saying it right? Kianga? Kianga. I said it Kianga when I first saw your message. So I don't know if you accept Kianga, or if you're just like, no, that irritates me, please just call me Ki. Of which case, my due apologies. Oh, entschuldige. Oy vey. Anyways. But, yeah, so that was how it was like for me back then. And even still now, it is something that it's this mentality of accepting that you can't control your thoughts and feelings is so relevant and so invoking of just general peace and relaxation, because of the fact that, you know, look, man, that's inevitable, right? I can't touch that. It just is the way that it is. So, in that way, you kind of just saying, all right, well, if that's how this is going to go, and if that's how the cookie was to crumble, I suppose the cookie will crumble in that way, and that's okay. And you take that step back and you say, all right, well, that's just how it goes. So, if you tried to put your bandana around Fox's face before, what do you mean around Fox's face before? What, like, well, I've got to try and suffocate him, because then in turn he will suffocate me. And unless that's what you're getting at, in which case, look, man, I can't fault your enthusiasm and your honesty and your drive to getting what you want, but maybe not for this. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm curious to know if any of you here have thoughts to add on that, or have your own experiences with either learning this lesson, if you've actually learned this lesson, or whether or not this sounds like a lesson that would be useful to you. Is this idea of just general acceptance of this fact that if we cannot control it, we cannot control it. If we can't control this thought, if we can't control this feeling, no matter how helpful or not helpful it just is the way that it is. So I'm curious to know, for anyone who has had any thoughts on that, for you to voice your thoughts on that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go grab my guitar, because I'm an idiot, and I think that it'd be funny if I just like had my guitar and noodled every now and then. So I'm gonna noodle my depression away, and it'll be friggin' great. And it may be as well, Mr. Daniel would just randomly go poof and pop up, and then we can have two of us streaming together. But for now, there is just me. I'm so sorry for your loss. But yes, please do comment. Please do comment on that. And while you do, we have a guitar. I also, I believe in my last live that we did, I had my other guitar, the smaller one. So this is my nicer one, which is kind of cool. It's got a very pretty looking wood on the back. And it's very pleasant. Very pleasant, very pleasant. Oh, hey, how you doing? How are you? Thank you also for joining the stream, and please, I hope that I don't bore you to death, actually. That may happen. Also, hello, Squirrel. Squirrel, you don't happen to have Daniel added anywhere, do you? My friend Daniel? Because if you do, please yell at him, because we were going to have a dual stream between the both of us, and he just sort of disappeared. And has he messaged me? No, he has not. Oh, good. That's great. But yeah, so I guess it's just us 7, isn't it? Because it says 6 viewers. That's actually quite a lot of people, which is exciting. Yeah. Y'all don't seem to have much thoughts on what I mentioned before, so that's fair enough. If it seems quite passive to you all, then, you know, you can feel free to just say, look, you know, I have no thoughts on the matter. Oh, hello. But yes, I'm trying to think what else that we were sort of going to talk about. You're not going to... Oh, well, that warms the cockles of my heart, so thank you. Look, what I'm gonna do, because my friend has sort of ditched me and I have to do this stream on my own, I'm just going to pull up some of the video ideas that I had written down, and I'm curious to just sort of voice those out, because that's just how this is going to go. Saved messages. Ooh, gee whiz, there is actually quite a lot of saved messages. How did that get a thumbs up next? Oh no, that's a thing. Oh, I like this one. I had a live idea of the there was a quote that Steve Jobs said, which was "Stay hungry, stay foolish," and I did quite like that one, because if you think about it, to stay hungry and stay foolish just refers to this eagerness to consume everything that you can possibly consume, not so much as food, but so much as ideas and philosophies and different constructs that you can envelop your mind with, and then you've got the idea of stay foolish, and that is the more interesting thing for me. And it's something that when we are to stay foolish, it's my understanding that what we're doing is we're just, how do I word this without sounding like an idiot? We become a little bit less caring over the any backlash that comes from our curiosity, I suppose, is the best way to word that. Let me put my little glovelets back on so I don't look like I've skinned my rat. So yeah, I think there's this truly magical thing that happens in our world when we totally accept our curiosity as something worthy of encouragement, worthy of pursuing, and worthy of just grabbing and going with. And that quote, I remember reading it back when I was a little girl, and obviously I'm a big girl now, so times have changed. But is the fact that I didn't understand it at the time because I was just so bloody young, and I didn't have the foolishness to ever ask those sorts of questions until now. And that on its own, I think, is quite fascinating of an idea, because it sort of says, if you just embrace the fact that you're an idiot, you'll learn more. Because if you're not embracing the fact that you're an idiot, there was someone that did a video on this actually on the internets, on the YouTubes, and he was saying that, like, in this board meeting, everyone was too afraid to ask any question to do with something that they weren't sure of, or something that they didn't know, out of fear of looking like the idiot, looking like the fool. And instead, if you approach everything with a really with a very relaxed sense of foolishness and inquisition, you're naturally going to ask questions that obviously people are too embarrassed or, feel are too foolish to ask. But as a result, if the other person sees value in those questions, they're going to expand even further, and all of a sudden you've just got this wealth of insight from asking all of these foolish or stupid questions that instead totally enlighten you to the fact that there is so much more that you don't know on this topic. And there was another thing that I remember hearing, I think it was from Jordan Peterson actually, that was talking about how to remain charismatic, and about knowing oh god, it was like knowing 6 times more than the topic that you're actually presenting on, so that as you're presenting it, you can sort of slide around and create a story and a pathway that goes from point A to point B, which is fascinating. And not that that totally ties into what I was saying before, but whatever. I don't have Daniel here, so I just have to fend for myself. Please help me. Please. Anyway. Also, as what we're actually talking about is, it's just a general sort of philosophy chat, but also because Daniel's not here, this is just going to be a chat about anything. So, you know, if you have a thought or a comment or just something that's on your mind, it's mostly, we've been sort of talking in this channel about all things philosophy related, all things psychology related. And so when I started this stream, I mentioned that at the moment I am, and this is just of today, have been dealing with this insane wrath of depression. And I can't keep my eyes open. It's just so hard to keep my eyes open. It's really, really hard. And what I had then said is that it ties in with the video title, which I think has shown up, which is about us not having control over our thoughts and feelings. So that's sort of where we were at before. About curiosity, I think that far more often we regret the things we didn't do than those we did do. But the exceptions are those that our brain keeps reminding us about again and again. Kianga, you are just so fucking wise. I love it. It's a breath of fresh air every time I read a comment from you. I will just have you know. Not to be trying to pamper you up, but seriously, I really do appreciate just how much thought that you put into anything that you say. It's quite magnificent. It's really quite magnificent. But I certainly agree with that, and regret as well as this general feeling, right? This feeling of, wow, did I miss something there? Did I miss out by not having said or done that certain thing? Regret is this really fascinating tool, because it, like, what is your mind trying to do? Is it trying to broaden your scope of understanding with a topic and saying, look, mate, I think that until we understand more about this and more about the multiplicities that exist in your in the options that you choose in this interaction that you've just had, or in this event that has occurred, when you explore all of that, only then will you finally be freed of any anxiety, because you understand the topic, you know what's going to happen, and your brain can then go, all right, look, man, we can relax now. We're pretty much a-okay, unless you have blissful ignorance, in which case I'm envious and I would like some too. You can ship some to my address any day of the week, please and thank you. But yes, I don't know if any of what I just said makes sense, and I know that it doesn't properly tie into what you said, but yes, I just have a few thoughts on those surrounding topics with that I think is quite fascinating. Is wanting to say hugs. Yeah, look, you know, maybe on that topic, I'm surprised you haven't criticized me for not having brushed my fluffy rat, because he needs to be brushed. He oh my goodness, I'll tell you what, I was thinking about this actually, of making an ASMR video of just brushing the fluffy rat. Like, if you get close enough to this, I don't know how ASMR that is, but if it's terrible, please let me know. I haven't tried it, and I thought, well, I'll try it now. I'll sample it with you guys, and if it's the worst thing since sliced bread, if you don't like sliced bread, that means that it's the worst thing since sliced bread. I don't know. Anyway, if it is, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Not being able to control your feelings, yeah, I get that a lot. As of recently, exams and stuff, piles of work and assignments and projects now that the university year is ending. It's hard. Yes, it is hard, and it is sadly my understanding. This is what I've learned in my experiences dealing with my brain being at the very limit of its capacity, as far as dealing with these inhibitions, is the fact that you genuinely don't have control over that. Like, our mind will just do its own thing. Its design is revolving around being able to think and being able to feel. And especially when it comes to university, and you'll have overstress that you just cannot manage, and that's something that really hurts actually, is when the topic comes into stress, because I can't turn that off with my brain. That's just on. The only way to turn that off is to regulate it using some form of prescription medication, which obviously, with anything said in this live chat, if you are trying to receive help or assistance with anything psychological, please consult a clinical psychologist or a psychiatrist or your general practitioner, for legal reasons, of course, because I will not be prescribing anything except fluffy hugs. I can prescribe those any day of the week, and I feel that they are a genuine form of medication, but perhaps I am biased. So that's okay. Moving on. The stress on itself has been unbelievable sometimes towards the end of March. I remember not really eating that much because of it, and just being so tired it sucks. Yes, and here's the silly thing with it, is you look at what's happening within your whole body, within your mind. You can notice when you take that moment to breathe, to relax into the environment that you're in, whether you're laying down in bed or sitting at your computer chair, and you reconnect with where you are. You feel 3 things that you can feel, feeling the desk, feeling where your other hand meets with your lap, and where both your feet meet with the ground. You'll reconnect, and then you'll ask yourself, once you're finally back on the planet, you'll say, hey, wait a sec, is this stress helpful? And then the answer's generally no. And then you go, okay, well, what can we do about it? And then the answer is, well, you can try and live with it. And it's like, well, that's just great. How the hell are we going to fix this? And there's a few things that you can do, like general mindfulness on a regular basis can certainly help. But again, there's only so much that you can do. And as long as you're not trying to push yourself into being calm and to push yourself into being relaxed, that's when even more struggles come about, because you actually stress about the inability to de-stress. And that's just really counterproductive, because it's like, well, no, you don't understand, mate. I specifically ordered the product that said you will be stress-free, you idiot. And what you've done is you've just presented me a double Whopper combo meal deal of extra stress. I don't want this. I'm trying to ease off on the carbs. Please stop giving me these hamburgers of stress and anxiety. I'm done with them. But life continues to present them to you, and then you have to sit there and go, well, fuck. I did not want this. This one is very sad. But yeah, I certainly wish that I had a magical cure for that situation. And all I can say is just don't stress. That'll be fine. Um, what great sound advice. You're awesome. Anyway, um, yeah. It brings back memories too of dealing with insomnia. Oh my goodness, dealing with insomnia. And insomnia is silly too because you'll sit there and go, again, this is so not helpful. You know, your mind will be racing with a billion thoughts and feelings, and if it's on a tangent and it's going a million miles a minute, you can try and have control over it, and there are certain things that work quite well. But when you don't know how to do those things, or you haven't been practicing them for a long while, when you need them most, which is when you have somewhere important to go in the morning and you really need to sleep, I tell you what, good luck, right? Good luck. Hey Vox, don't tell me not to stress. You're not my dad. Oh, screw you, you piece of shit scrub. That's great. Anyway, yeah. That's some of my words on the topic. Not that they really stand for much, but yeah. I think that's just how it goes. You can only do as much as you can do, and such is life. What other ideas do I have here, just in case that we... oh, that one's a dark one. I don't want to go down the dark path. That one's angry. Ooh. Okay. Look, if we're not objected to going down the dark path, let me know, and I've got something that I'd be more than happy to elaborate on and to have a chat about. But if not, that's okay, and we will just sort of move on. I've been meaning to do a video on autism in the furry community as well, but I really want to dig up. There was this old census that was made in the furry community, like way back when. Oh, it makes me feel old just thinking about it. And only an idiot like me would search up something like that. But turns out what they were doing back in yonder times is they would go to each convention and hand out these little questionnaires. And they would be handed out to everyone, hopefully everyone. And they would then, yeah, sort of fill out this little, I say this little questionnaire. It was apparently quite a decently formatted census, and it would have on there, you know, do you identify as having any of these disabilities? What is your profession? What is your age? What is your income? What sort of household do you come from? What religions do you pertain to? What religions have you had, or whatever it was? It was designed to be as wide stretching as possible, and it was good because it had on there this decently high percentage of people who identified as being autistic, and it's like, well, there you go, you know. Also, Jack, I did see that message until you erased it. I don't know if you want me to answer that or not. But anyway, I guess you'll let me know. Okay. What the hell is that? I can't even see what that is. What are they? Is that a dab? Ah, there's a dabbing emoji. Are you serious? Done. All right. Moving on. Oh fuck! There's two. Sorry, I have to do a second one. Oh, sorry. You're not meant to look in the direction, aren't you? You're meant to look like that. Yeah. It's maybe that. I think. I don't know. I need you guys to instruct me how to perform an accurate dab. I'd also like to never do that again, but that's never going to happen. And, you know, some like 11-year-old somewhere on the internet's going to clip that and turn it into a short, and then I'll just casually have to neck myself. So that's kind of cool. As I said, I've got a few video ideas that I'd been wanting to discuss that one of them was a little bit dark, so that, you know. Oh, I've already raised it anyway. I do like that one though. There was one that I had in there. Fox Dab. Yeah, I know. I did it again. Huzzah! There was another idea that I had as well for a video, and that was in regards to selfish or self-preservationist, and that one's tricky because it sort of ropes in a few different things in the one hit, because you'll have people that say you're selfish when in fact you're actually it's for self-preservation, or within your own mind through either self-sabotage or through having been gaslit by other people. You'll believe that it's actually selfishness and not self-preservation that is at play. But I don't know if this is something that anyone really thinks about that often. So I wouldn't mind knowing for everyone that is here, if using your phone keypad, press 1 for yes, 2 for no, or 3 if it's too early to tell. No, please let me know. Selfish or self-preservation. Is this something that you have thought of before, or that you actively think of? Is it something that has ever crossed your mind? I'm sure it is, but I'm just curious to know where we all sit in the general, in the general sense of that topic. So, please comment. Please. But yeah, I've had to undo a lot of the oh, hello. Yeah, I've had to undo quite a lot of the self-talk in my mind when it came to, is this selfish or is it actually self-preservationism? And it's hard because the more you think about it, for me at least, I should say, the more I think about it, the more I would go insane. Because all of a sudden, you're in this position where you are totally questioning everything you do, and you start to feel like you've gone bloody insane, you know? Because it's like, well, am I being too self-preservationist, and that therefore makes me selfish because I just want to be happy and peaceful and relaxed? Or is that actually not enough? And my personal belief is the only way you'll know the answer to that is if you are in a position where you have someone that you know, that you like, that you trust, and that you understand has an incredibly sound moral compass, that, you know, there is no injustice that'll ever be at play, and they'll generally give you a very good insight as to if you're overstepping that boundary. I don't know if it's something that you can do yourself, because you might sort of accidentally veer off track. What do you define as self-preserving? So the reason this topic came up is, and the reason I've got it written down, is because I was going to discuss it with the PTSD, and with the PTSD it comes down to the fact that, how do I word this? it comes down to looking at accusations of selfishness, of trying to control the situation. For example, having people make relatively big adjustments or considerations due to a condition that you live with that is inevitable and that is 100% unavoidable, in the sense that it is in your mind, that it is neurologically the way that you are, and psychologically the way that you are at that time. So I don't know if that makes sense, and I don't know if I'm just sounding like an idiot. I'm possibly sounding like an idiot. So, I beg for your pardon if that is the case. But yeah, it was this moment of reflection and going, well, I was requesting that people give consideration and that people give due care and are educated against their will. I was educating them against their will, as far as how they would state it to me, and that I would say, look, in order for us to have any form of interaction with each other, I need to make these ground rules known, and in the ground rules are a set of very strict conditions, and those conditions need to be met in order for us to have any interaction. And in order for you to be welcome into my space and into my kingdom, there will be a set of rules and a set of strikes that are applied to each rule being broken. If you break this one rule, that is 3 strikes and you're out. This one is 5 strikes and you're out. This one is 10 strikes and you're out, if that even exists. But this one is 1 strike and you're out. And that one is 1 strike and you're out. And people may accuse you of being selfish for upholding that. And it gets interesting when you take this and put it in a situation that is very morally difficult. For example, when a family member, particularly if it is a parent, a parental figure, is to do something that is 1 strike and you're out. And then you make an exception to that. And the exception has been made, but all of a sudden, fast forward a fair bit of time, and then they 1 strike and you're out again. Now, I cannot talk about this because if I do, I will have a breakdown. So anyway, I hope that explains where I'm getting at with this idea of, that then starts to press the idea of I'll be deemed selfish if I am to say, no, I cannot have anything to do with you because you've betrayed my trust. You've had multiple bites at the cherry for something that is the defining point as to whether I live another day or whether I die another day. And then you'll then be told that no, well, you're actually being selfish because that's your mum, that's your dad, that's your sister, that's your brother. How dare you do that? But then you could also use those words against them because they don't have much merit, because they haven't been well thought out. But the problem is, regardless of that, they're still going to make the claim, and in their mind rightfully so, which means that they win, right? Because the bully is the one that always wins, and bullies don't have brains as a general rule. Is that you will be there will be a claim put against your name that says that you are selfish for doing what you need to preserve your life. How dare you? Because look at what you've done, at the destruction that you've caused for these other people. And that right there, I think that is like the everything to do with that topic of selfish versus self-preservationism. I hope that makes sense. And I just know that I'm not going to go into any examples of that topic because that gon' fuck me up. No question about that at all. I know my limits. I know my limits. I think selfishness is doing something which negatively affects others to get a benefit for yourself. Self-preservation, I feel, is either ambivalent to others while still benefiting yourself. But I think in addition to that second, to the defining of self-preservation, it does need to be added that word of preserving one's own life. Because that's ultimately what it comes down to. And that was the case for me in the example that I can't say because it's just too messed up. So we're leaving that one. I don't even think I can actually do a video explaining the example because, again, it is that messed up. What other comments do we have here? Let's have a read. Need my reading goggles on. I need to get these cute little reading glasses for Fox. That'd be very adorable, and I would like it. If any of you know where to get some made, please do let me know in the comments section below. Alright, what do we got? I like the picture on the wall. Oh, thank you. Pardon. Symbiosis, not mutualism. Where did you say? Where did you say that? Okay, I can't find where you said that. Like parasitism and commensalism. Oh, that's what you said, and then you corrected that. Okay. I'm going to need you to educate me on that, actually. What is parasitism and what is commensalism? Commensalism. Very curious to learn what those two things are. I'm not a very educated or very bright person, I'll have you know. I just know the topics that I do know, and I know those well, and anything that falls out of the scope of that I'm learning because I'm growing up to be a big girl. So I do appreciate any insight that you can offer on that. I don't have Daniel here, who would be my resident Googler and would then be pulling all this information up from the web. And so as a result, it's all up to me, and I can't type with these fluffy paws. I can't type with fluffy paws. I don't think I really engage in self-preservation, not negatively. I would say that I'm much more self-sufficient and don't really rely on others a whole lot, whether that's through just daily life or personal relationships. Okay, I'm going to read that again. I don't think I really engage in self-preservation, not negatively. Well, the argument against what you've just said right there would be that you do engage in self-preservation because you make an effort to breathe and to drink water and to take food which could be given to someone who is not you, right? Anyone who is not you, you could give that food out, but instead you choose to eat it yourself. So in a way, that would be the argument to say that you know, those basic needs are a form of self-preservation, self-preservationist behavior. I could be wrong, you know, and just really looking into this like way too micro than I need to, but yeah. Anyway, there are natural relationships between two organisms. Parasitism, for example, a mosquito and a person. Commensalism would be a shark and those remora fish. The shark doesn't mind the remora, and mutualism would be like a bee and a flower, both parties benefit. Oh, okay. That's really fascinating to learn, and I hope that, unlike the last live that we did, that this does not delete the comments, so I can copy that and add it to my little saved messages thing on Telegram, because that would be nice. I would much appreciate having that as a little side note. Unless you can send that to me privately, that'd also be greatly appreciated. But yeah, that's awesome. I like that there are terms to describe those forms of relationships, and I think though this is the issue, is that those things change with humans, because humans now live quite a complex life. We're not very simple beings like in the old days, where it was just, look, you need to go sharpen some sort of whacking stick or a spear or a rock, and you need to piff that at an animal. You're going to kill that animal, then you're going to somehow create fire, cook that animal, and then spend the next 20 days hunting for another animal, right? And then eventually you mate, and then you raise that offspring, and then you die. How simple. We don't have that anymore. You know, life for us is quite complex now, and there is these factions within social groups and within families, and all kinds of strange ulterior motives that can come into play as well, which is not particularly fun. So there is that. But yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. My brain just sort of went blank. Well, Voxy, it's been good hour chatting, but I'm going to go to bed. Oh, that's nice. I didn't know they were doing a little model train expo in Eltham. I like Eltham. Eltham's a really lovely place. So, very good, my guy. Enjoy, and I'll catch you on Twitter, I suppose. Yes. I'm going to dig up these other topics now. I had one which was recognizing a double bind, and that one I really wanted to do a proper video on, and I will in due time. For those that don't know what a double bind is, perhaps you all do know. I didn't know for a long while. But a double bind is that saying of, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And they're pretty awful situations to be presented with, because there are quite a few people in our lives right this very second who have the capacity to deliver one of those to us. And they are the most damaging thing for your mind in your interaction with them, because you truly do feel like a hopeless waste of space, because you can never fulfill what it is that they're needing you to fulfill. And normally by that point you would have them diagnosed as as having narcissistic personality disorder or something like that. But that was something that I really wanted to do a video on, and I've got a few examples in my life that that, oh, there's one that's really dark. Ooh. Why is everything so dark with me? Why am I so messed up? I had one, but it has to do with the abuse, right? And I mean, oh, friggin' stuff it. All right, so for anyone who's listening at the moment, uh, trigger alert. I'm not going to use some nasty terms, right? But this is to do with sexual abuse. The double bind that I received, this is the one that in my mind is like the pinnacle of bad double binds to be in, which was when I was in a position where I was going to be abused and experience that first sexual assault against me. I was presented the double bind that came in two parts. It was delayed. And I was guilt tripped and manipulated into my whole body freezing, and I wasn't able to do anything. And all of a sudden things happen, and then the PTSD related issues start kicking in, and then you run away, and then you get lost, and eventually you come back that night, and all of a sudden there's this argument that's being presented to me, like an actual argument, and the argument was, and this messed me up. This was a very big part of my PTSD that we uncovered with EMDR therapy. And the argument was, why would you do that? You know that no one has any right over your own body. And that was after a significant amount of time was spent in guilt tripping and manipulating me into my mind actually just shutting down, and then me being unable to move. And in a position that I was in, it was particularly bad because you could just sort of be moved into wherever you needed to be moved to. But that's a terrible double bind. That's like 10 out of 10 would not do again, for obvious reasons. That stuff is yeah. People like that really need to be just like somehow pulled out from the crowd, and then like sat down with a psychologist and like have their brain picked for how to uninstall the narcissism out of their brain. But that doesn't happen, and you can't change what you cannot control, so you have to do this, which is the bigger picture with you cannot control your thoughts and feelings, is the fact that you also cannot control other people. You cannot control anyone else. You can control yourself, but you cannot control your thoughts and feelings, but you can change your relationship to those thoughts and feelings. And so then it's just, it sort of feels a bit hopeless actually when you say it like that. Wow. I really am a depressing person to be around. This is great. Anyway. So yeah, there's a few topics that have been discussed at least, so that's kind of cool. I will be doing a full video on each of those topics once I finally work out what it is that I'll be explaining in them, and once I sit down and work out how the hell am I going to explain it in a not entirely depresso way, because you don't want to be too depresso. The internet will ban you if you're too depresso. In addition to that, I also really need to edit my videos. That's something that I've been sort of fearful of, is the workload that's involved in having to film it and chop it up and then export it, do all your file management and stuff. And with my PTSD, it felt like I had termites eating the back center core of my brain, due to the overstress that was just constantly exhibited in my head. And so it's like, well, stuff that. I'm just going to record these videos, start to finish, and if I get 2 minutes in and I go, you piece of shit, you totally forgot to say the bit that you need to say here, I have to stop it, and it restarted, and then go back from the start. And that's why I'm so peaceful in all of those videos, and, you know, I'm sitting there, I sound like a radio presenter, and I'm like, well, I guess that is how it is. And the reason why is because I'm trying not to get angry about the fact that I've just wasted 40 minutes of my life pressing stop record and start record again. It was so terrible. Anyway, I also had a friend say, oh, Voxy, you need to do a guided meditation video. I couldn't imagine anything worse than having that delivered by a giant rat. But anyway, the option is there. The option is there. So maybe one day if I get drunk enough, I will consider it. Yes. Mr. Daniel really has not shown up, and he had a whole bunch of topics that we were going to discuss, and he had everything all in his wonderfully smart little brain. Very tiny brain, but it's a very smart one that he's got in there. It's like a little supercharged turbo acorn, except a brain, and it's in his head. Anyway, moving on. So being that we don't have that all of those additional talking points, I don't want to drag this video out too long, because I will actually bore you all to sleep. So unless I start playing guitar or something, I guess I could do that for a bit. Stuff it. You know, you only live once. This is a YOLO situation. Which again is so true with the title, because I thought, well, I cannot control what I cannot control. If Daniel's not responding to my text messages, then I guess I'll just kind of do the thing and press the button, and all of a sudden, poof, this video comes into the internet, and then you're all here and are able to join in on the fun of me looking like an absolute idiot. So yes, there we go. Guitar Foxy sounds nice. Well, yeah, I can certainly oblige with that. No issues at all, mate. Annoyingly though, with my guitar, this thing has unfortunately suffered a bit of a wrath, which is that there's a brace on the inside, and that brace has... have I ran over a cable? I have too. Piss off. Why does this happen every time? You're an idiot. Oh, piss off. I'm an idiot. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, so though as you're aware, you know how much I just like looking at Vox and stuff. Yeah. Oh no, Jack, did you actually turn that into a GIF? Oh, you're a nugget. Yeah, but this guitar has an issue with the brace on the inside, and so like my soul, this guitar is shattered, but still together enough to be considered a guitar. Just like I'm shattered, but still together enough to be considered a human being. Not a good one, but I exist as a human being, and that's all I've got is that. Ooh, that's probably too loud. Sorry. Testing 1 2. play without like seeing what's happening up there, and I'm also an idiot and I haven't played guitar in a long while. So anyways, but there we go. We've gone from philosophy chat to idiot chat to now there's this guy in a sweaty animal suit playing a guitar, or sorry, pretending that he knows how to play a guitar. And that is, that's just how it goes. So. To deal with so much messed up stuff, and you can still talk about it calmly, have a sense of humor, and play the guitar. I don't know if I would call that inspiring, but I really do appreciate it. You know what though? I tell you what, I could be really depressing and start talking about all this sad stuff. And then start giving myself my own sad music, but I can't talk and play at the same time. And it would just make me look like the biggest conceited, self-entitled cockhead. Oh my goodness. Oh, the Forbidden Riff? Which one is that? Is it that one? No? Okay. I don't know if that's a Forbidden Riff, but Kianga, yeah, man, I have like resigned so much care from life, and that was one of the dark talking points that I had before, that I was a bit too worried to start talking about, which was like this idea of, if you don't have any will to live, then you don't have any fucks to give. And then you're actually in embracing the fact that mortality is no longer a problem because you're fine if you pull the plug and disappear from the planet, that it makes you a very terrifying and scary person because you actually become invincible. And that's the position that I'm in, because a lot of the time I'm in this dissociative state where I'm not entirely on the planet, which we can all see because I just look like a crazy idiot, you know, hence the animal suit. And it's why I'm so aggressive with the way that I'm telling my story and how I'm presenting my story in such a raw and real format, and why I don't have an issue looking like an idiot is because I genuinely don't have anything to hide, you know, like maybe, yeah, like that's just my understanding of it, you know. Is that what you wanted, Squirrel? You piece of shit? I don't know how to play Stairway to Heaven. It's been maybe 6-7 years since I've played that now. No, more than... Ooh. Anyway. I will learn that for you, Squirrel, because you're an idiot and I need to please you because I'm an idiot. No, I don't know how to play fingerstyle. That's one thing that I am learning how to do. And I've made that my goal, learning how to play fingerstyle on guitar because it keeps me very occupied. Guitar is a really good thing when it comes to mindfulness meditation because you can feel the vibrations getting channeled through your entire body as you play it. And that's, you know, that's never a bad thing, you know. You generally, you know, as a human race, we quite enjoy being vibrated. Um, Hang on. Anyway, moving on. So guitar's really good, and I just need to get this one fixed, you know, because it's, yeah, very upset. It buzzes all the time. Very good. Yes. So much for philosophy chat. You know what though? I will be absolutely friggin' fuming. Um, well, are you going to bed? Oh, aren't you a nugget? Why are you going to bed, squirrel? You're the life of the party because people get to look at you and laugh. And then you're just gonna disappear and then I have to laugh at myself. Oh, God. Anyway, well, we're losing squirrels, so I'm sorry, everyone. Shit. Yes. Very good. Yeah. And another thing that's great about guitar as well, I don't know if there's any other guitarists here that can say that they get this or not, but for me, whenever you play guitar and you're playing something that's really just in tune with what you're hearing in your head, you sort of doze off into a weird form of trance. And that trance just picks you up and takes you to places that you just sort of don't know where you're going. But, you know, your eyes are open, but they're also, it feels like they're closed, and you just start seeing all these different patterns and whatever have you, because you just get lost in this sensation of musical wonder and joy. And I quite like that. But that also possibly makes me sound like I am genuinely insane, and I possibly am, and I think next time I see my psychologist I will have to raise this one with him and just double check that we're on the same page with a few things here in regards to my questionable level of sanity. Oh, I tell you what though. So my psychologist, when I made my first video, oh, that was funny because he said that he'd love to watch it, and I'm like, well, shit. You know, that's possibly not very good. Go watch Soul on Disney Plus. Explains it perfectly. Oh yes, 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 yes. I haven't seen Soul, but I know what movie you're talking about. I believe so. But yeah, so he said, look, you know, I'd really love to watch it, and he did, and he had only very positive things to say about it, which was really heartwarming and relieving and reassuring as well. That, you know, here's this video that's actually been, you know, has the psychologist's stamp of approval, at least enough to say, you know, don't take it down, sort of thing. You know, like it's a very well told story, and it's raw, but it's a courageous story to tell, and good on you, sort of thing. And so, you know, that, yeah, sort of warms that part of your soul up, because then you sit there and go, well, all these people that have said that my story is made up or fake, or that I'm, you know, just trying to get attention or some shit like that. It's just like, tell you what, if I was trying to get attention, I'd do a much better way of getting attention than what I'm doing now. Holy shit. What a terrible way of trying to get attention. It's just like, what, do you think I'm retarded? You know, do you think I'm actually like not there on the planet? Anyway. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. I need to learn how to play some other things on guitar, clearly, because I'm not very prepared for this musical interlude, which goes for about 8 hours, because, you know, oh, fuck, sorry. That probably hurt. That was probably very loud. But yeah, this endless musical interlude, because Daniel has just... he's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. He is not with us. Which makes me kind of nervous, because he doesn't normally do that. Normally he's actually on the planet. Haven't received a text message from him, have I? No. Fuck. Okay. As long as, you know, he's not in some bad situation where, like, you know, you do something and all of a sudden... Yeah. If you hear that, normally that means that's it, man. Like, you're done. You're doomed. Oh, there it is. I'll learn it eventually. All right, give me like, I don't know, 7 years, and then maybe yes, please, have mercy. Anyway. You all are lucky though, because I could have been an arsehole. I could have whipped out the cello and been like, well, screw you guys, you know. Good luck to your ears now. I have the big violin, it is very loud. And my cello, I just everything in my life seems to fall apart. And so I have this guitar that blew up, and then I have this cello that blew up as well. There's a sound post inside it which sort of stops it from just going and caving in and actually genuinely exploding. And so sure enough, my cello had exploded. And it needed to be fixed, and so that was fixed, and I was very grateful for that, for the work that was done in fixing it. But then it's also got other problems as well, namely the fact that it's me that's playing it, and so if I was to play it for you all, it would sound like a dying cat, which is just marvelous. It's quite a magical experience to be blessed with for your eardrums, which is, oh good, this giant elaborate kitten is dying. Oh fuck. As long as it's not Kianga, then we're fine, alright? Is one of the big cats that are in here that, you know, if they sounded like that cello, that would be very unfortunate, and you'd have to call RSPCA. Saw that video with the cello earlier. Was that on Twitter or YouTube? That would have been on... was that where there was a guitar and a cello by any chance? Because if it was, I was the one that was playing the... I was the one that was playing the cello. So if it is that, then yes. So that video, I don't know if if you have seen that one, but that was uploaded yonks ago. That was like back in very late 2015, actually shortly after everything that had happened. So, and I thought, that's fascinating, right? That's really fascinating. And I was watching it, and then I was remembering what my life was like back then, and I'm like, wow, you know, because my memory was erased. I had no idea that you know, what had happened because of the PTSD, and I just tried moving on with my life, and you know, I was finally happy because it was like, oh good, you know, a fellow musician. We only ever got to play together once. He was too popular. He ended up getting quite popular with that TV program called The Voice, I think he went on. And he had a phenomenal voice. Absolutely magnificent musician. And I remember I was vexed at the time, because I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, here is this this musician person, and I uploaded this video, and like not very long after uploading it, it was at like 500 views or something like that. My brain was just like, I cannot believe. And it turns out by that point he had already been auditioned on the thingo, and sure enough, he had worked his way up with it, and so people were naturally searching his name on YouTube, and my video would come up, and I'm like, that's so funny. So anyway, I think that's quite hilarious. Maybe it's just me. Fuck. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hop out of Fox and hop into my onesie. So I'll be just a moment. One moment, please. One moment, please. Wow. Oh. He's a good boy. Oh, you're very pretty. Oh, you're very pretty. He's a good boy. Very cute. Oh, he's very cute. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He's a good boy. Yeah, so my cello exploded, and that was quite unfortunate. It made me a little bit upset. I need to keep changing the title of this live stream because now I would call it How to Skin a Fluffy Rat. And also how to have a bad a bad hair day on camera. Which would be, you just need to wear a very sweaty rat for a decent while. And voila. Take him off and you'll be sort of screwed. How is my hair? One sec, let me just turn down the treble so I don't deafen you all. I have a mixer. That everything connects to, and I had this epiphany. I'm like, God, you're an idiot. You could have done this already, you stupid pelican. Anyway, moral of the story is I'm a permanent idiot. I'm just very, very stupid. No shortage of stupidity. Anyway, and I'm like, if Fox is muffled, you have the option to fix that, like right now, just by turning a little dial and saying, well, demuffle my Fox. And so Fox is then demuffled, and all of a sudden he's a very happy and articulate sounding rat, which is quite pleasant. And speaking of which, oh, he's so pretty. Yes. You're a good boy. But yeah, moral of the story is I'm an idiot. But that's okay. Because we don't have control over what we cannot control. And there is no controlling the level of idiocy that exists within my brain. And there is also no end to the supply of idiocy that exists inside my brain. It's abundant and infinite. And really is just the full encapsulation of my being is defined by the term idiot, which is great. It's awesome. So, yes. But that's a really good point. That is an excellent point. I like this. This is great. All things happen for a reason. In the title of this video, Daniel had me write that we don't have control over our thoughts and feelings. He wanted to argue his point against that, and I was arguing that, well, we don't have control over it. Like I'm just telling you right now, we don't have control over it. There are some things we do have control over, and it gets interesting to me, because one thing that I have control over is how I interact with my fluffy support animal. And the thing with Fox is that Fox obviously means a lot to me. Fox arrived after the trauma, and he became my fluffy support animal almost immediately after I open the box, and then there's this, these two happy looking ears and all these furs all roughed up in all kinds of different places. And, as I'm brushing him and making him look all pretty, and then all of a sudden he's staring at me, and then his eyes just lit up. Don't cry, you stupid cunt. You piece of shit, come on. Oh, you piece of shit, come on. You piece of shit. Why can't I talk about anything without crying every time? You're an idiot. Oh my god. I'd like to be able to talk about this because it's fascinating to me, and then I just probably can't. I don't know. I'll try. Fox was alive, right? Fox was not this costume. He was alive. He was real. He was living. He was breathing. And I cannot go into any detail about that, otherwise I'll just fall apart. I just can't do it. I really can't. But anyway, so yeah, just as all this time would pass, and as the world would continue moving, and as things would happen in the order that they did in my world, this relationship would change, and it wouldn't change, it would grow. It would grow between Fox and I, and it was to the point where it was actually quite a dependent relationship, and yeah, man, like, honestly, Fox really does mean the absolute fucking world to me, my dude. He really does. Both he and she, because Fox is, depending on what Fox is wearing, as you may have seen from my Twitter. But yeah, so this idea that you can't control your thoughts and feelings, well, there's some things that you can control. And I thought, and it was really rough, this thought coming into my mind because of how much Fox means to me, which is, I'm not a dumb person. I joke about myself being an idiot all the time, but I know what's happening. I know scientifically, I know psychologically what is happening in that relationship. I know what it is. I know the full reality of it. I know what it is that I'm doing, and that, I'm people from outside looking in will naturally have some harsh words to say about it, if they were to have any harsh words to say about it, or if they were to say, oh, it's good that you've got a support animal, right? But it's that idea that, well, now we have something that we can control, right? Now we have something that we can control, which is this relationship. For fuck's sake, you can control this relationship that you have with this giant elaborate rat costume. But that choice is actually so out of bounds in my head. And that's weird. Like, basically what you're saying to yourself in that moment is,
Well, I'm going to go out of my way to be delusional, right? Will this be having a negative impact on my life? Will this have a positive impact or no impact at all on my life? Well, let's find out. And anyway, I would find out, and it turns out that as far as I am aware, as far as I can see, it has had a positive impact. Because it's not that I try and reason or have a rational discussion with a fluffy rat that just gives you a look, and that look is that communication, and that communication will say what it says. I know that, you know, Fox is just there for support, you know, and I'll squish him to pieces in bed when things are quite bad, you know, and he loves it. He likes being squished. He's a good squishy boy. But yeah, I think that is something that is a bit against that that title, and also is something that people would debate. I've had enough people actually debate the hypocrisy of, no, it was you and I that were discussing this, wasn't it? The hypocrisy of the fact that, like, you know, here I am with this fox suit, and then people say you can't have the story that you have. That doesn't make sense if you've got this animal suit. And again, it comes down to that control, but that control is not known to anyone else but you unless you communicate it, which is why I make these videos, is because then I can communicate what I can and can't control, pending that people believe me, which is the next part, that I can't control anyone else's thoughts or feelings. I cannot control how they behave, so I can't control if they want to believe me or not. I also know that I don't, like, I ultimately don't care, because if I do care, then if I don't receive the result that I need, I will fall apart, right? Or I will be upset, or I will have some form of negative reaction to that. Well, of course, if there is expectation, then you're opening yourself up to the ability to be disappointed. The moment that there is expectation, you open yourself up for disappointment. It is such an inevitability. But if you don't expect anything, but instead are just so fucking passive towards the world and just go, well, it is what it is, you know? But it's a good philosophy, is it is what it is. And you have to say that to yourself, and only then will things be bearable, because then you can move on forward without much of a care. Yes, that's right. That as I was saying about that, it like the comment came in my head, and I'm like, God, you're an idiot. It was a comment, you nugget. Anyway, I am a nugget. Yeah, man, there's a few points there. There is a few points there. So, but yeah. What was I saying? Saying something. Saying something. I cannot remember. Excellent. Oh, he's so pretty. I like this fluffy rat. He's very cute. He's a good boy. Yes, fox snugs. There's nothing better than cuddling up to a deflated animal costume. It's just so good. For some reason, I have not taken the opportunity to fill him with pillows and cuddle up to him that way. About nuggets. I've got a point about nuggets. Oh, now you're making me hungry. Don't do that, please. I'm really hungry. Oh, I've got wine. Who needs food when you've got booze? Anyway. Oh, that's better. Yes. What the hell was I on about? I had some form of tangent, and I can't remember what it was. I believe it was to do with... it was about the control of that, and then it was about the hypocrisy, and again it was... That's right. It was the control of other people. Now I remember. And I don't have control over my hunger as well, and that's what I'm feeling now, and it's killing me. Please don't do this to me. I'm really hungry. Also, cheers, Prost. Absolutely. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence as well. That was really appreciated. So thank you, and have a wonderful brekkie. I haven't eaten at all today, and I can't remember if I ate yesterday. Maybe that explains the depression. He's a genius. He's just come to the most giga-brain conclusion. I have not been eating. Maybe this is why I am depressed. What an idiot. Oh, you're joking. You're kidding. Fox doesn't judge me, but everyone else does. Shit. Anyway, yeah, so that lack of control with I know, I really want nuggets. Please stop talking about the nuggets, because I'll end up ordering some and I don't have money. I'm very broke at the moment. I've got nothing. I spent it all on petrol. But anyway, because petrol's so dear at the moment, it's just absolutely ridiculous. You treat your car better than you do your own health, you idiot. You know, you absolute bloody nugget. Why are you a nugget? What's the deal, mate? What are you doing? I love British accents. They're very cute. They always sound a little bit more sophisticated. Little bit more sophisticated. That's right. It's like they got something going on in that big old noggin of theirs, you know what I mean? That's the worst British accent. Don't judge me, please. Yes. These comments are making me angry. I cannot look. I will look in this direction now. Hello. No, I just did against what I just said. Okay, no, and I did it again. I am special. I am very, very special in the brain. What an idiot. Don't look. Don't look at the food. Don't look at the food. God, that is fascinating. No! I hate this. Screw you. You are trash. You are trash. I'm just so hungry. Yeah, don't have control over other people, and gee whiz, I had that the other day. Oh, I had that the other day for sure. I copped it something shocking. I'm going to force myself to keep this video online, by the way, even though I'm an absolute mongoloid, like a genuine Neanderthal level idiot throughout this whole video. But I am convicted to the idea of forcing myself to that. So good luck the rest of the internet. I'm so sorry. So did Daniel think that it was on Sunday? Yeah, no, he didn't show up, not once. And we set the time. It said on there that it was for this time. And everyone was all, you know, waiting and ready. And it's like, where is he? Where is he? Please. But yeah, so I copped it recently, and that was rough, because that was I'm going to go into loose detail on it. Really stuff it, you know. It is what it is. But basically what happened was it was really sad, right? It was actually really sad because I don't wish this, I don't wish any pain on anyone, okay? Including the person that did what he did to me, including my recent ex and the ex before that. I don't wish pain onto them. I just wish that they did not do what they did and that they would do everything in their power to undo the damage that they did when they actually have no intention of doing that. And I can't control that, so I have to just live and let live and go, well, it is how it is, and these people will exist on the planet. They will continue having a happy life. They've got everything in order. I live with a severe mental condition called post-traumatic stress, and so I just kept cop the short straw with this one, you know, and that's cool, you know. I'll be homeless. I'll be homeless. I'll not be able to live at home. And then I'll just live in what used to be it did used to be a house where I live, but then it was changed into, every room was an office. And then the office stuff was kicked out of the room, and boss man was like, yeah, man, come on in, you know. I know how it's, how scary it could possibly be for you. So, you know, come on in, you know, I'll look after you. Good man, good egg. And so, you know, now I've got this place that I can live in for a bit, and he had an aircon installed for me. Again, really good egg, you know. I'm very grateful. I'm very lucky to be homeless and then not be homeless as quickly as that happened is really, really good. But yeah, not controlling other people. So what happened was my sister apparently had been watching my videos. And it's like, okay, good luck to you. That's going to be very rough because these videos are very honest. They're very honest. They're incredibly honest. And what happened was, she had apparently read comments and heard in the thing, in one of the videos. And I believe I basically had said, look, if I don't have the will to live anymore and I'm not fearing killing myself, then I can do whatever I want. And if I can do whatever I want, that means if I'm going out, like off the planet, I can name names. Is that useful? Is that helpful at all? Right? Is that helpful? Is that good? Well, I haven't sat down with my psychologist yet to ask that question to him because he has a very good way of philosophizing about those sorts of things. And that's a tricky topic. That is a very tricky topic. Because my sister knows what I live with, right? She knows that I have post-traumatic stress, and she knows that I was betrayed by my exes and decided, well, I'll continue to be friends with your exes. Because they mean more to me than you do, and they mean more to me than your health, and they mean more to me than you not living with these seizures that, you know, I have now witnessed you having a seizure, and you can deal with it. You know, that's your problem to deal with. That is a you problem. What is a me problem is I still want to have these people as friends. So she made that decision. Anyway, she made the choice to watch my videos, and she then hears these things that were said in the video and read some of the comments. And sadly, she then experiences what I haven't heard, like this has just been from what my mum had said to me. But apparently she was in hysterics and she was experiencing what under the DSM-5 you would state as being anxiety and paranoia, but severe paranoia, right? Severe paranoia, thinking that people were going to come to her house and try and kill her. And it's like, she's then accusing my videos of giving her that belief, and it's like, and then has gone to mum, and mum is absolutely gutted, absolutely furious with me, right? Absolutely furious and gutted with me, and rightfully so, because now this comes in a question, right? This this good value that you have in life of, well, if they're your kids, you look after your kids, and one of your kids are now very unwell and very upset. But then it comes in a question, was I looked after through this? And there was a number of times where I was actually sadly betrayed by my mum. And that was really, really hard. That was really, really, really hard to experience that. And I love my mum more than anything else. Whenever I feel like killing myself, I think of mum, and then I go, well, you're not going to go off the planet then. And you need to then start making some SOS calls and having some people come down and look after you. And yeah, she had betrayed my trust and had lost my respect in this instance, because she was then turning the whole thing into about my sister not being able to go to work because of this being in hysterics. And this will seem selfish. This will seem selfish. I am not going to hide from that. But this is hard because I've had this battle since 2015. That's a big number of years. That is a long, long time, right? That is a big, big amount of time. That is a long, long battle. And I have lost countless things in my life due to my post-traumatic stress disorder, making me feel like I was having a heart attack and I was going to die, right? PTSD was what gave me panic disorder. And panic disorder is feral. That is wrong, right? To go through panic disorder is wrong. And I don't wish that on my sister. I don't wish it on my mum. I don't wish it on anyone. It is absolutely wrong to have to live with that. But yeah, what happened was my sister, rightfully so, was really upset and was saying to mum that I need to take down these videos. And it's like, holy shit. I don't think you understand what's happening here. You watch a video and you get paranoia thinking that I'm giving a hitman or hitmen the home address of where you're living so that they can kill you? I don't want you dead. I just don't want you in my life because you're dead to me. You know, because you're a disgusting human being, according to people with a good moral compass, and there are plenty of them. So, you know, think about that. If you do happen to watch this video, I can't say this to your face, because if I see your face, I'll have a seizure, genuinely. And I say that, I have a physiological response. My brain then goes into lockdown and says, no, we're not going to think about that. Because when it came time, the processing, the decision that my sister made in EMDR therapy, I had another seizure. I had another one. It was like, boom, that. And then, you know, my psychologist is freaking out, you know, because you don't want to call an ambulance on someone that's having a psychogenic seizure, because then they'll take away your license. It's not epilepsy. It's not epilepsy, you know. It's totally unrelated to that. So yeah, she had control over how she would respond to the thoughts and feelings that she had experienced, and she had a choice in in making a decision that I presented to her, and to answer your question, my mum would think, well, she, how is she supposed to know what you're so upset about? And she would keep saying that, even though I've explained to my mum a number of times that she knows all too well. I've written about this stuff on the internet before. This is not uncommon knowledge, and it was also expressly verbalized to her. It was verbal. This was verbal. And verbal doesn't mean much because you can forget that, right? You can, and your brain can just pick out the words that it thinks are important, and you don't have a choice with that. It just is how it is, and unlucky, right? Unlucky. Well, it was posted on parts of the internet, and instead of questioning, hey, am I making a morally just decision here? The decision was, well, I'm going to look after myself, which is I want to be friends with this person because I game with them. They're also a furry. I'm also a furry. And so we have a lot in common, right? And they both have the same sense of humor. I think she is interested in the artwork that he gets of his character. It is what it is. You can't control that. That's just the way of the world, and more power to them because they have control over what it is that they do on this planet. And if they want to do that and make that decision, that's on them to do that. Just like it was on them to make that decision to betray me, to deceive me, to go against my basic need for safety, according to my PTSD brain. Because safety, according to the PTSD brain, is different to safety for any normal person, right? My safety involves abiding by some very strict trigger warnings. Those trigger warnings need to be abided very, very carefully. And those trigger warnings have changed now, right? They've changed now due to me finally being pushed to the edge, to the limit, and voicing my story. And as a result of people all collectively watching my videos, right, seeing a number that says 600 people have acknowledged your voice here, right? As far as views on that video, as far as subscribers on Twitter, what each number of subscribers says is, for as long as you're speaking about your PTSD and that number is not dropping, those people are not against your message. Okay, that's really fucking powerful, man. And before that, right, it was just YouTube and the comments and the views that were coming from that, which was the source of the paranoia for my sister, right, was the fact that these were getting, it's got like 400 views. And I remember replying to mum with that and saying, no, it's actually 600, right? That was a really cocky thing to reply back with. But the thing was that this whole thing was turned into an attack towards me when it was her choice to make an immoral decision. It was her choice to watch the videos. It was her choice to have the relationship to the thoughts and feelings that were going in her mind. And not that that's an easy one. That last one is hard, all right? So I don't actually push that out there. I say, well, I fully condemn being presented with any anxiety or pain against your will or consent. Not that anyone ever consents to anxiety. I do. I consented to anxiety with making a Twitter account. That was consensual anxiety, right? That was actually consensual anxiety. So think about that. It does exist, this whole consensual thing. But yeah, what happened there was really baffling. That was really, really baffling. And for it to be turned around into something that is now an attack against me, when the attack against me is saying, how dare you ask for support? And it's like, what do you mean, how dare I ask for support? I had to undo the gaslighting and the denial of suffering through thousands of dollars of a psychologist to recognize these things, to learn these things, and now be in a position where I know them well enough to be talking about them in videos to help other people going through their own shit. What do you mean, how dare I go out of my way to ask for support, to cry for help? Because that's what I do. As you all know, I'm very good at crying. I'm a fucking professional at crying. So good at it. You know? The big emotion. Anyway, so there was this fully informed decision that needed to be made, and she made that decision. It was her choice to make that decision. And I don't think any sympathy or empathy can be granted to her, because it's like, how can that ever be considered acceptable? And my psychologist straight away said, we're booking in an emergency appointment for you. You know, I'm setting some time aside in my calendar and we really urgently need to have a chat. And the chat's going to be basically everything that I'm discussing with you all, which is fucked, right? Because that's the other thing that's really messed up, right? It's not like I don't know how to live with this, right? But it's that I need reassurance. That's actually what I need at the moment now, is reassurance along with EMDR therapy, right? Reassurance and EMDR therapy. I know what the gaslighting looked like. I know what the denial of suffering looked like. I know what the deception looked like, the betrayal, everything that happened. I know what that looks like. I know what it sounded like. But what I do need at the moment is I need the furry community to all see my story, right? To all see that one video, at least that one video, even the first 2 minutes of it, and then reading the description and then going, okay, this is actually, you know, I get the gist of what happened, and then saying in the comment section, I condemn what happened to you, right? As opposed to what is basically saying, if you were to support my sister in this, what you're actually saying is, I know that you were sexually abused and that you had no choice in being sexually abused. And I acknowledge that you had no choice in being sexually abused. But you just need to stop complaining about it. You just need to get over it, and you need to not inconvenience me. What the fuck? My brain's broken. Like, that breaks it further. You saying that breaks my brain so much further. That, no, everything is broken now. I need glass of wine. You know? That doesn't work. Like, that's not how you do that. And I've met more people that are that immoral. And I asked my psychologist, and I said, mate, I was really upset, and I said, man, what the fuck's the deal? I said, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? And he looked at me and he said, I know. I'm upset too. It's like, you're not meant to be upset. You're meant to be the icon of support. You know, but what he said was that, you know, these people are out there and they exist among us. They do. And we can't change that. It comes down to acceptance again. It's the fact that you cannot change the fact that there's no shortage of these very immoral or questionable people. And, you know, it's sad because the capacity exists for that to be in your own family. And your family is a pillar of safety, right? It is one of the pillars of foundation in life. You've got one of them as being family, right? Your tribe. And the goal is in your tribe, right? This is going back to caveman days. In your tribe, you wouldn't have someone trying to poison the watering hole for the rest of them, right? There's no benefit to that. You all need to group together to survive, right? So you would never do that. It would be unintentional why that would happen, but never intentional. You know, that just doesn't exist. Unless it's, you know, trying to poison perhaps one person to fight over who can, you know, like copulate with the other cave person, right? I guess that maybe is it. Club them on the back of the head and yay, I win, right? But then you look at what's happening here, and this is over something so petty, so petty and so lacking in forethought and lacking in due care and due introspection before presenting these things to me and saying, here you go. And it's like, excuse me? What you've just done is made me want to plow my face into a brick wall. That's not productive. It's not. It's not productive to plow your head through a brick wall, man. That's the last thing from productivity that you could ever possibly ask for. What? You know? It's fucking ridiculous. And I'm really light-hearted about it now because I'm, you know, I've had half a bottle of wine. Which is bad. You're not meant to self-medicate, you know? Oh, that's really bad, but wine's healthy. There's resveratrol in it. It's good for anti-aging. It's got antioxidants. I'm an idiot. Oh, that's good. I'm also bald. Look at that. Where's all me fucking hair gone? I used to have hair that went down to my shoulders, by the way. That's long gone. Now it's going to be to the point where I have to shave it all off. I'll go bald and I will have to rely on my fluffy rat to be my source of hair on my head, which would be very, very sad. But hey, that means he's got purpose in life. So that's kind of cool. And on that note, purpose in life. I can't remember if I released it. Maybe I did not. Oh no, I did. Imposter syndrome. Purpose mixed with imposter syndrome modeled things up for me, but we'll ignore the imposter syndrome. My hair's thinking, thinning but far off being bald, thankfully. Yeah. Clutch on to hope that your hair remains on your head. It's not fun, man. I get sunburnt like everywhere I go. It really sucks. And I really want nuggets still, because you bastards were talking about fucking nuggets before, and now I'm really hungry. Shit. I hate this. Anyway, Yeah, sorry, am I boring you all? I possibly am. I hope it doesn't delete the comments after this video goes live. That happened last time, and it just looked like Daniel and I were talking to ourselves for like 2 hours. It was so unfortunate. And this one, I'm so unco, and so if it does turn out to be that way, then not only have I bored you all to death, but then I've also looked like someone who's clinically insane, which I suppose I'll accept that with kind regards. But yeah, I hope I'm not boring you all with this. But now that I'm in a position where I can talk about it a little bit easier, it's good to get that one off the chest. Does not let you think very good, and it can mess the thing you're talking about. Yes, that is true. That is absolutely true. I haven't had too much alcohol, just enough to remove some of the inhibitions. And the thing that I've found, is that now we're just changing the topic to alcohol, aren't we? The thing that I've found is with alcohol doesn't make you stupid. It just makes you look like you're stupid. You can actually be incredibly, incredibly smart while being absolutely shit-faced. But what happens is it removes some of that risk assessment that comes into play. And so yeah, so that's a bit of a thing. Philosophox is never you just warm the cockles of my heart every fucking time. You're not boring. Oh, oh my god, bloody. You guys are inflating my ego something shocking. I'm going to have to treat myself to some nuggets after this. Oh, yo. It would have been so much more enjoyable if Daniel was here, because we had some really funny things that are planned up for what we were going to talk about. But this was still really fun, and I'm glad that you're all not bored, because it's nice having that instant sounding board when it comes to these things, because they're all really complex. I think they're all really complex things. These aren't things that you can type in a little text message in 2 seconds. This is like, okay, well, sit down. This is an essay, And I think, far out, if I was in bloody high school again and they said, oh, you need to do an 800 or 1,000 or 2,000 word essay, right? And you're like, oh no, I can't do it now. I'm just like, let's go. All right, only 2,000 words. I got it. I can talk your ears off. Feel a lot more at ease talking about this stuff since you started the whole YouTube thing. That is a wicked good question. I like that. Oh, I like that a lot. Oh, I love that question. That is a good question. Fuck. No, I shouldn't. Come on, you have to have an answer to this, you idiot. I mean, surely you'd think that the answer is yes, but why can't I think of facts as to why? Why can't I think of, Because is it that I'm confusing it with my ability to be vocal about it? Because it's a conversational thing with these videos. These videos are conversational. These videos are a conversation. I don't look at the camera. I look and I visualize exactly who I'm talking to, which is really, really bizarre. But it is the thing that I remember being told that, you know, this is how you engage with people, is you know, it'll withdraw some of that anxiety and inhibition to talk and just, you know, relieve yourself of that, and so you can just be you and talk and connect. I think the answer is yes, it has. And the reason why it's difficult for me to answer that is because I did do eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. Now, EMDR therapy is like voodoo magic for PTSD. It's really good. It is so good. I went from having severe panic attacks thinking about anything to do with the place, the location of where I had been abused. And I now can say his name. I can visualize his face. And I feel no anxiety. I feel fine right now. I just saw his face and I feel fine. That's fucked up, man. That is voodoo magic level fucking shit. That's voodoo. Right? How is that possible? Because I lived with this for like since 2015 and I only did EMDR therapy last year. Right? Only last year did I do that, because it wasn't something that my psychologist knew how to do or even possibly knew about. I don't know, right? But he's sort of specialized and niched in trauma. And so sure enough, he began practicing EMDR therapy. But yeah, EMDR is the reason why I can talk about it. And I think the answer is to your question is definitely yes. I'm so sorry. This is the longest answer to that question that could ever have been. Holy shit. But the answer is definitely yes, my friend, because it made it easier for me to talk about it, because as I began talking about it, I was exercising my right. I was exercising my right to my memory, because I had that right was turned into a privilege, and that privilege was revoked because of PTSD. And then we changed things, and then all of a sudden I can visualize everything. I used to have like not very good photographic memory, but it was pretty okay, right? I'd see things very, very vividly. And all of that went, and after the PTSD, it felt like I'd only been alive on the planet for like 2 to 3 years, right? Which is very scary, because I was like 20 years old at the time, 21 years old. I think I was 20. And it felt like I'd only been alive for 2 years, which is really terrifying. But mixing those two things together, me being so honest and open, and also the timing in which I began being honest and open, which was, you know, my first video, I did that during a come down. Now, a come down from, to sign up for now real life calls. I'll try watching the rest later. Thank you very much And yes, I will absolutely eat something 100%. It's all I can think about at the moment is nuggies. Maybe I'll try and eat something more healthier than nuggies, but I don't think I can. I think the only thing that's open at midnight is Macca's. I hope I haven't drunken too much wine, actually. Have I? Can I still drive? 824. Oh, it's been a little while. I can still drive. We're fine. We're fine. And there's no one on the roads as well. I do not condone drink driving at all. I want it to be known on the record for legal reasons. You're an idiot. But yeah, thank you, Kianga. I really appreciate you watching and commenting. It's been really, really wonderful. Truly. But yeah, as I was saying, just finishing off on that, 100% being able to talk about it in a way where I don't care what happens in my life. I don't care. Like, think about it, right? If I don't want to be alive, and in that feeling of not wanting to be alive, I say to myself, I have the option right now to do as much careless selfishness. It's actually self-righteousness. Come on now. Self-righteousness. Self-preservationism. But it will be possibly seen as selfishness, right? Whether you like it or not, it's just the way that people are possibly going to see it. But we take this moment of disregarding our mortality as an issue. What that means is that now we can finally speak freely, right? But you ask him. It's sort of like you ask a man the truth, and they tell you what you want to hear, and you give the man a mask, and he will tell you everything he knows. There was that came into it as well, and so I had no intention of ever doing a video where I would be the one that was outside of Fox, right? This is when I was thinking about doing some form of video before I had that seizure. But then I had the seizure, and I was it was from a come down, and it was like, oh, all right, well, this changes things now because I really feel like no longer being here. So we're going to say everything, and then when we're done, we're going to hit upload, and we're going to see what happens, and we'll just leave the video out into the internet, and we'll see, does anyone bite, right? As in, like, do they bite onto the video and have a bit of a watch? Do they all tell me, how dare you be discriminating our community? How dare you be saying that furries are bad? How dare you be saying that the furry community has problems? Because there are people out there that say that. Because I've heard it. Well, I've read it. And that's fucking stupid, because it's like, you guys surely know better than anyone else that this community is certainly the furthest thing from perfect. It's still populated by human beings, you egg. And unfortunately for us, human beings have the capacity to be absolute fucking assholes. So as a result, there is every bit of capacity, every fullest capacity for people to turn that around and make that a living hell, and yeah, so not caring about what those people would say because it didn't matter if I was on the planet for much longer made it so much easier for me just to be connecting with people and sort of saying, okay, if no one will help me, I will request help and I will make help for me. I will make help available for me. And that's why I started hustling. And that's why I started being really, really fucking looking like I was selfish, is because I'm like, well, no one else is going to help me except myself now. I'd been to a psychologist for years and we could not fix the panic attacks that I was experiencing around the furry community. He would just say, look, man, you just have to avoid the furry community. And then I get a comment somewhere. I can't remember where it was. I got a few comments like this that said, if you've got issues with Twitter, then why are you on Twitter? And it's like, my issue's not about Twitter. My issue's with these people IRL. And my problem is that furries are everywhere, right? They are fucking everywhere. They work in all different kinds of jobs. And they exist in all various places in the internet. I've had so many times where I've been swiping on Tinder or on Bumble or Hinge, and I'd match someone, they look normal, and all of a sudden it turns out they go, oh, I really love your fursuit, right? I've got the fursuit on there so that people see the pictures, and then they then have to, it qualifies them because they go out of their way to say, hey, I'm actually one of those people because I identify that, I like that, and I know the terms that are used, those terms are quite esoteric, right? They're quite specific to that community. But yes, that's just that. That's a very long answer to that question. Fuck. Yeah, there you go. Well, that was really fun. And I also agree on that last comment about that no one is perfect and people ignore their problems, and then you get some that are 100% facing head on what they're going through. And facing problems head on is very hard, right? Which is why I don't criticize people who try and ignore their problems, because I understand why they're doing it. It's convenient. I can't get mad at you for that. It's convenient, right? It's convenient, feels good. Of course you're going to do it. But in the long term, it's possibly a very bad thing to do. And it then comes into the question, is this helpful? Is what I'm doing, is how I'm thinking about this, is my approach to this? Is my feeling that this approach to this being helpful is helpful? Is that helpful, right? You just keep asking questions onto the questions that you've asked yourself until you find yourself, inherently overwhelmed with all these different things. Pardon me. Anyways, it is 12:30, and I will, I reckon, call an end to this video. Thank you if anyone who is watching this after this has been live and has made it to this point. I'm so sorry that things got trailed off, sort of off the rails for a bit there, and I assure you all that the next one will be more entertaining and more sensical and have more purpose, which will be nice. Who knows? We may even do one tomorrow to make up for this one being as much a train wreck as it was. But anyway, thank you all. And yeah, that's sort of it for now. Be good and catch you all in the next video. Bye for now.